Hello and welcome to Paxton Road TV. This is Talking Points. This is episode number 49. And tonight's Talking Point is about, let me put it up on the screen, the Tottenham Hotspur season so far report. And no better persons to have in the house to go through this halftime report than the lads from Tottenham Away. I'll introduce them first before I introduce you lot at the top because they're more important than us today because they've got mugs and everything. It's Iggy and it's Coach Stel. They're in the house joining us tonight. As always, we've got Sid Spurs and Shawnee 61. Wait, you keep changing your name now. What's going on?
Just to keep you on your toes, mate.
Just bloody keep me on my toes for real. Anyway, before we start the show, please hit that like button, subscribe, all the rest of that good stuff. Please leave us comments as well. We'll try and get as many comments as we can. We have got a number of questions for the panel, but if you want to also put some questions in, please do put them in the comment section below. Right then. Oh, we've done enough talking. This show, the Tottenham Hotspur season so far. So I think it's back in September. Coach Stel and Iggy both on the show. So we are talking 20 games in now. What's changed really? I guess we're in we're in the transfer window episode, and as we know as Spurs fans, the transfer window doesn't always bode well for us. A lot of rumours, a lot of things going around circulating. But let's try and concentrate on the team. We'll touch on all the transfer window stuff in a little bit. Before we get into the talk, let's have a little see what we may have done earlier, as they always do, in the old good Blue Peter style. For those of you who are old enough to remember that. Right, here we go. So, league table so far, played 20. So as of February last year, we were in 6th place. We'd played 20 games, won 9, drawn 6, lost 5. We had scored 34, conceded 21, goal difference of 13, 33 points. Compare that to this season. We are 20 games in, won 11, drawn 3, lost 6, scored 26, conceded 24, goal difference of 2, but 36 points. Start with you, Stel. What's changed, if anything? What do you think?
Oh, sorry. Just need a drink of water there. Sorry.
Thank you. This is going to be
fun. What's changed? Well, the thing that strikes me the most is that we scored more goals last season, but you could probably put that down to Nuno being manager for half of this season, where we just weren't even taking shots. So I wouldn't put that on Conte. I put that more on Nuno's team. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same. Nothing's really changed. I think we do have a bit more going forward with Conte. Not so much against the better teams, but definitely against the weaker teams. In terms of personnel, I'd say that we're probably weaker this year. We're not as good. I thought Harry Kane and Son last year were fantastic. I thought Ndombele was actually okay last season. I'm not saying he's brilliant, but he was the best we saw Ndombele was last season under Jose. And I think that we're in a sliding doors moment now, where he either backs Conte or where does Tottenham Hotspur go from there if he's not backed? And so far, it looks like he's not being backed. That's what I see if we compare last season to this season so far.
Okay. I'll come to you, Sid. What's your thoughts on that? Like I said, we're 3 points better off. I go back to last season. There was potentially a lot more crises going on, obviously, with COVID. Teams were suffering in that sort of sense. Games were being compressed in a season that was, very, very much disjointed. And I guess some of the teams around us at that time, you look at the likes of Man United, they've kind of fell away a little bit from last season. You could probably say the same thing about Leicester, West Ham, there or thereabouts again. Arsenal, there or thereabouts again. I think we can discount Manchester City and Liverpool. Chelsea last year weren't doing so well. Obviously, European champions this season. Do you think a lot of it has to do with the fact that others maybe haven't or have improved and we're just kind of stagnating? Where do you see the comparison to last season? And is there much of a difference for you?
if you look at players coming in, a lot of the other clubs have bought maybe one or two players to strengthen their sides.
Sorry, just 1 second. I just need to just stand up a little bit. Oh, dear. Oh. Sorry about that. Just wanted to get the lurch in. Sorry about that. Sorry, Sid. Sorry about that one.
Yeah, I was going to say, if there's no point comparing players because all the other teams have bought players and their squads are better than ours. Problem, like we've always said, is you look at City's bench, you look at Liverpool's bench, you look at United's bench, Arsenal's bench, even Arsenal's bench, everyone's bench. When you're struggling in a game, you look at our bench and we know there's no one on that bench that's going to come on to turn a game around unless you don't start with Mora. Yeah. Apart from him, there's nobody really on that bench where Conte's probably looking at that bench and thinking, I'm dead because I haven't got anyone on that bench that's going to come on. So that's our biggest problem where we're not adding. Even if you're adding one player, two player, like Liverpool do, one player, two player here, there, and everywhere, slowly just rotate. We're not doing that. In terms of other clubs as well, I think a few of the clubs are not doing too well. So we're quite kind of lucky in the sense where Arsenal are not doing too well, even though they should be. Man United are hit and miss as and when. City and Chelsea and Liverpool, they're just way ahead of everyone. Whereas we should have had a lot more games where we should have won them games, but we didn't because Romero got injured, then Dyer got injured, Son got injured, and when we lose them players, we've got no one to replace, and that's the biggest problem. Had we had all them players fit and he added a few players, I think we would have been further up the table. But it's the same situation, isn't it? It's always down to that one man.
So why is it that we're kind of, because again, I look at the results and if I'm honest with you, yeah, we scored more goals last season. Goals against us is relatively the same. Games won, there's a couple of games difference, one either side in terms of a draw and that. We've had, who else? Lamella's gone. There's been a few changes in terms of personnel. But we've been through, we had Jose up until, was it April last year, whenever it was. I can't remember exactly when he left now. But is there enough change? Is there enough change in the results? Because I look at it and see, I don't see much difference. And maybe if we go the year before, there's not going to be much difference to that. So again, are we looking at it as maybe there's been other things that have caused the problems at Spurs, i.e. with the COVID, or is it just a lack of, ability of these players? Because we've had good managers. We've had Jose Mourinho. We could say he was maybe on the downside. I'm discounting, Nuno and now we've got Conte. So again, that's still said. We probably can't take too much in terms of Conte because he only had 10 league games. If we didn't have his 9 league games without defeat, where would we be in that comparison? So has anything changed in terms of the improvement? Have we actually gone backwards? And I'll ask that to you, Sean. Sorry, Iggy, I'll ask that to Iggy first and I'll come to Sean. Have we gone backwards?
Listen, the best thing that's happened to us this season compared to last season is getting Conte. Because after the summer, we all thought, for me, it was that I was so disheartened after we didn't get him. And all the names that followed, if you guys remember, I just thought this is going to be one of them, it's going to be worse this season. So getting him, for me, was a massive, massive plus. And I just thought that maybe we'd be looking at a different mindset because I thought, why would we get this manager if he wasn't given what he wasn't promised in the summer? We got him in, we got him in the winter. So I think it's something that was obviously changed in the mindset of the Spurs hierarchy. I look at it now and I'm thinking to myself, what actually, other than changing managers, what's actually changed? The personnel's pretty much the same. Yeah, we scored more goals last season. Sonny and Kane were on fire. There wasn't all that rubbish that happened with Kane in the summer. So what's changed? Nothing for me. Essentially, when you look at it in the context, nothing's changed. We're still having the same. The only thing I will say has changed, and I've mentioned this many times before this season, that I've noticed that the manager has compacted not only the team, but the fan base. because we are all behind the manager. We was having a lot of turmoil, if you remember, last season with the players, and we didn't know the manager what he was doing. Was arguing, Jose lost the dressing room, and that hasn't happened this year in the sense that there's a togetherness that Conte's tried to bring within the team. He's getting the best out of these players. You can see the level has gone up a little bit from what they were doing last year. The fan base are totally behind Conte, which is why you got so much hashtags back Conte. So there's that, but you're still having to deal with the same hierarchy, the same issues, same 5 days to go to the transfer market's over, and we still haven't signed absolutely anyone. So ambition-wise, I've not seen any changes. You can argue,
Sure.
and that's my concern, guys.
I totally agree with you. I took last season into a little bit of an isolation because of what it was. Jose came out and he was saying, "Oh yeah, I think the squad's good enough." Maybe he was, saying that. Maybe there was a lot more going on behind the scenes, and that kind of really came out when I saw what Nuno was doing. Because Nuno, I wasn't happy with. I don't think a lot of us were probably happy with the performance, but you go behind the manager. I don't think he was the right manager for the job, and it's in the hindsight, and people are going to say, "Oh well, you can see that now." But I just thought, in terms of the guys' media presence, I just didn't think it was going to work out. The pressure was always going to be ramped up, and if I can see a man like Conte in press interviews looking a little bit dishevelled, a little bit, out of kilter, you know that someone like Nuno is never going to be able to deal with that. And so be it. So said, so done. He's had to go. That was a poor start for us, but a lot of these problems stem way back from the manager that we had, obviously with the 2019 pinnacle that we had. So what I was going to ask you, what was your expectations for this season, given the start of the season when we had Nuno, we had the debacle through the summer. Did you expect more, or are you about where we're supposed to be, given the start to the season?
I think,
so for me,
I think it was kind of like we were... we are where I expected to be. We are treading water. We've been through incredible turmoil, as Iggy said, about the fan base completely divided against each other, particularly under Mourinho. There was those that embraced him, and those of us who knew it was a bad appointment as soon as he stepped through the door. And I think we're kind of where we expect. I mean, we're kind of like. Sorry, if we're talking about this season, we're at a kind of juncture. We got BC before Conte, which was which finished in a horror show. It was like a car crash, and now we're in Anno down. We're in the Antonio dynasty, so AD. But it's I think the fans and the manager are united, and that's good. That's good because that's really important for us as fans. That we feel that there's someone in there, that we can respect. But I'm really starting to see the shine come off of Paratici, sorry. And as for the man in Lily White House, the sooner he goes, the better, as far as I'm concerned. He just, it's the definition of madness is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And here we are, transfer window, can't even get in Adama Traore, who supposedly they all love, and we're just it's going to be a joke. I tell you, there will be, I don't know. I think Tottenham Twitter next Tuesday is going to be absolute carnage the way it's going at the moment.
I can't wait for Tuesday. I can't wait for Tuesday.
Adama Traore. I saw the best explanation of Adama Traore today. I heard the best explanation, right? He gets the ball, and you're go on, goal kick.
This is what this is exact. Me and Sid, I think Sean as well. I think what's happened.
Everything he does ends in a goal kick. It's like...
And this is a lot of the problem. We get all this. You know what I mean? If you looked at it, we were trying to buy this player for the last season. It was like 40 mil apparently. I was never, if 40 mil for him, I was no way. Even at 20 mil, I'm like, nah, this player's, you don't have nothing. But now they've left it so late, if they bring him in, everybody is going to, we've at least got somebody. And this is, I think, this whole smoke and mirrors game that gets played leaves us with the low expectations of this, because this guy's stats are shocking. It's shocking. I put something up the other day. Davinson Sánchez has got 3 goals this season. And how many's, what's his name got? Was it 1?
1 and 1 disallowed.
Do you know what I mean? So when you look at that, just the basic facts, Davinson Sánchez, who I personally have just caned, has got more goals than Adama Traore. I put the thing up. I think it's 158 appearances he's got in the Premier League. This is Adama Traore, and that's something like 7 goals and 14 assists. It was ridiculous for the amount of. And all we're buying is a speed merchant. I don't think it's good enough. But what's going to happen is we're all going to be like, flipping out. You know, he's done all this. I just don't know if it's good. And I have some sympathy now for Conte. I was going to ask you, Stel, because looking at now going back to Conte, Nuno, do you have any sympathy for Nuno when he was given what he was given? Or was he just out of his depth anyway? Or is there any degree of you that thinks, you know what, I feel a bit for him?
Go back to my Twitter. When we got Nuno and Paratici, I said we've got the wrong director of football and we've got the wrong manager. I came on your show and I said this 4-3-3 system's a disaster. It's not going to work. And young Darius, who's a smart lad, by the way, gave me a real run for my money on my show the other night. And he said to me, no, it can work, it can work. And I was like, no, I don't think it can. And we'll see what happens after 10 games. I reckon he'll be gone. He got sacked on the 10th game. Conte's come in. I'm telling everyone, Conte is going to walk. He is going to leave this job. He's not going to hang about. I'm telling you, because this man is elite. Like, I still can't believe he came to Tottenham. I actually think he's slightly stupid because he's come to Tottenham, and why would you do that to yourself, right? He's come here probably because he's really good friends or he's got that relationship with Paratici and he's getting paid £20 million. Let's not forget, he's getting paid mega money to be here. And all I'm hearing now is, don't worry about this window. It's about the summer. It's about the summer. That's what I'm hearing. If we don't get players now, there's no top 4. And if for all the reasons Sid explained, there's no one to come off the bench. And we're going to get injuries. We're going to get suspensions. Kane hasn't had his 6 weeks out yet. He always has 6 weeks out. We're not going to get top 4. And when we don't get top 4, how much money do you think we're going to have to spend? When we go in for, I don't know, a top striker, and Arsenal looking for one, and Man U looking for one, and maybe one of them have got Champions League, where do you think that striker's going? It's not us. So we're not going to be able to attract the players. So this mythical summer everyone thinks we're going to have, it's not going to happen unless we get 2 or 3 top players now. Regarding Traore, all I'll say is this. If Conte really wants him, so be it. Because I do trust Conte. But if this is a Paratici signing, it's going to only end one way, a disaster. So I do not see how this Conte, for me, Conte's the right manager for us. He's the wrong manager for the chairman. I think it went badly wrong with Nuno. That was the final straw. The only way Levy could get out of it was to pull a complete rabbit out of the hat, which was Conte. He did it in under 48 hours. He saved himself with the fan base. And Conte's now told him the truth, right? I reckon Levy was hoping, this guy will help me out. He'll fix it. I'll get him 3 or 4 players. And he's turned around and I think Conte has told the board, I need 12 new players. This squad is shot to pieces. Everything Poch told you 3 years ago and everything Jose told you last year, they were both right. And I'm telling you the same thing. Get me these players or I'm done. And Levy shut the bed because he's thinking, wow, 12 players. We can't afford that. And it's going to come to head. Conte will not be the Spurs manager at the end of August. I'll be stunned because we're not going to have the money to back him. That's where I'm at with it, Sam. You know? Yeah, sorry to put it down on everything, but that's honestly how I feel.
All right, and so before I come to Sid in a minute.
Yeah.
My expectations from this season, given the debacle in the summer, I would almost use the word poison that Jose had kind of put into the club, because that's what he kind of does. But now I look at it, Jose was doing Jose. Jose does that. That's what he does. but we were kind of a bit of a breath of fresh air when we, got him out, and then there's all the debacle in the summer. We got Nuno in. Oh, yeah, he's not the right manager, but let's get behind him. I still look at the team. I personally didn't think we were a top 4 side. I said this on record. If we get top 6, and I'll be very happy to win a domestic trophy. I still stand by that now. But the fact that we've got 10 weeks ago, whatever it was, we hired Conte, who we flirted with in the summer. He categorically said, no, I don't think I want to be there. We've now turned that, flipped that coin over. We've got him. Whatever has been sold, whatever he has been sold to come to Tottenham, has to involve him getting a degree of what he wants. A degree, not to get everything, but a degree of what he wants. He said in so many of these interviews and press conferences, the levels are not high. Oh, this is not good enough here. There's this. It's not going to be solved in one transfer window. He's crying out for a little bit of assistance. Now, we all can see it. If he doesn't get backed now, with him saying that, there is nobody that can say, you know what, he's left too early. Because I would, if I was him, given the fact that he didn't want to come in the summertime because we didn't have what we wanted then. Somebody's told him, oh, maybe, we're gonna do something differently. I'll ask you, Sean, what do you think he has been told that made him sign in the first place? And now we're getting push come to shove. It can't just, because he said it's not just about the players here. There's a lot more going on. We don't know what goes on. But what was he sold to get the job?
I haven't got a clue, because as Stelios has just said, why would you come to Tottenham unless you thought that you could, awake a sleeping giant or something? All I can think of was that Mrs. C was bored with him moping about in the house, after Inter Milan, and just to go and get a bloody job, He's going to have expected some sort of support from the hierarchy, and he must know the history of what Levy does. Levy cannot do anything other than chip away at prices. He's a great negotiator when it comes to property, but this whole thing revolves around a football club. That's the PR of Tottenham Hotspur. Is those people stuffed into the white shirts every week, and he just can't do it. 20 plus years of underachievement. We're a London-based club, higher season ticket prices. We've now got a stadium to be, everyone marvels at, training facilities which are second to none, and yet. The basics of a football club is that you refresh, you get better and better and better players, and you have to loosen the purse strings, because wages, the correlation between wages and success on the field has been proven again and again and again. And, we don't have to spend massive amounts of money on transfer fees necessarily, but we need to refresh this team. Pochettino said it. We've got a beautiful house, but we're sitting on bloody tea chests. We haven't got the furniture.
Sean, you speak about wages. I just want to jump in on something you said about wages, right? Mm-hmm. Leicester City and West Ham both have pretty much the same wage bill as Spurs, there or thereabouts.
Slightly higher.
Spurs,
higher in both cases,
maybe it's higher, but we've got double the turnover. We make double the money of them, yet our wage bill is the same percentage of at the same amount. That's all you need to know about the way we spend money on the football team.
Interesting. I'm going to refer to this. Sid, do you think, and the way it's questioned, Mojo, thanks for this comment here, can you seriously see Conte not being involved with any incomes? What I'll ask you then, Sid, is do you think it is just down to Paratici, the Hitchin, whatever the scouting network is, and Conte to get these signings in, and Daniel Levy is just a man signing checks? Or do you still believe, because a lot of people are saying this, well, we've got to wait because it's Paratici now. I know we've had a little bit of this discussion about that, whether or not Paratici is being used as a bit of a shield. He's being put in front so to kind of protect Levy. But again, I was calling for a director of football, managing director, whatever he's now called. He's there. Do you think Conte's now getting involved? And if he is involved in these signings, some of these players that we've been linked to, I don't see as being Conte signings. The Traore one as well. I can understand to a degree because the people keep thinking about this Victor Moses. But we're not wanting to get any more projects in. I don't want another right wing back project. I want someone who's got an end product. If he's going to bring someone on to get us his top forward lark for this season, I don't want to have to try and coach, Adama Traore to be able to cross a ball, to be able to. I don't want all that. It's not going to be. Do you think that he's involved in these transfer signings or transfer dealings at the moment?
Right. Couple of things. Just one thing that we touched on before about players. Pochettino, when he was there, he had the players for 5 odd years, never refreshed the players. Then Mourinho came in. Mourinho done the same. And if you remember, they asked him, are you happy with the squad? And he said, yes, I'm very happy. Conte's come in and within 2 weeks, he's turned around and said, this squad is shit. I need to get rid of everyone. And that makes you think for the last 7 odd years under Nuno, Jose and Poch, where they're silenced by Levy not to say anything about the players. Because how does it take a man to walk into a club within 2 weeks, say half of these players are shit and I need to get a whole new bunch of players, like Stel said, maybe 12 new players. How many times have we been told? He's got a list of players that he wants for Spurs. He's given that list to Paratici and Daniel Levy, right? Now, I think the players that he wants, A, they're out of our league. I mean, when I mean out of our league, I don't mean playing in Italia or whatever. I mean literally out of our league. And B, Daniel Levy's turning around and saying, I ain't buying them for you, right? Like somebody said before, Conte wants to shop in Harrods and he's getting farm foods, right?
Lidl. He's getting, not even Lidl. Lidl's pretty decent these days. As is Aldi.
Yeah. Poundland.
Do you know what I mean?
Poundland, right? Now, I think now he's got to that point where he's not going to get the players he wants, right? Diaz is a prime example, yeah? I'm sorry, anywhere you go, if you see a price tag, someone puts a price tag on a person, on anything for a reason. That's the value of that person. How can you then go in and offer less than half and then stick by the gun and say, I ain't going to give you any more than that? Yeah, that's Daniel Levy's tactical ploy. So, like Stel said before, we ain't going to get these big 60, 70, 80, 90 million pound players because he ain't going to pay it. And Conte's got that list of players that he wants. The problem is, he's probably thinking now, I ain't going to get them players because Daniel Levy's probably promised me I'm going to get this A, B, and C, and I'm getting X, Y, and Z. He's told Paratici, because they work together wherever they've been, even he's not doing it. So he's telling him, go and get me a striker. He's gone to League One to get a striker, right? Go and get me a winger. He's gone to Traore, for example. That's not the players that he wants. So Conte, I think, and I agree with Stel, and I've said this before, if we don't get more than 2 players in this window and the players that Conte wants, then summertime, I think it's going to be bye-bye. I don't think he's going to hang around. And
no,
he's now probably so frustrated because we're January 26th, right? 20 odd
Sid,
days
Man United need a manager. Man United need a manager.
I know. Listen,
it's worrying. It worries me so much. So Spursy if he goes there, isn't it? So
yeah, I said to somebody yesterday, summer Conte is going to Man United, and they laughed at me. He said to me, why? I said, because if he doesn't get what he wants this window, which is not, in the summer, he ain't going to trust Daniel Levy. Man United will give him whatever they want, and he can just walk into that job because he's going to get that job. Yeah. So Daniel Levy's got a massive, massive problem. And I said all along, we ain't going to get more than 1 player. He's got a list of who he wants, right? I mean, I read today that this Amrabat guy, apparently Conte does want him.
I don't want to hear about
apparently Conte does want him.
No, I don't want to hear about. I don't want to hear about this Amrabat geezer. Conte can't want this guy. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. Honestly, have you seen some of the things that? No, sorry. I'm sorry for talking over you. You say your piece first.
I was going to say
I'm not having it with this.
He's not even playing for Fiorentina, right? But he's playing for Morocco. Yeah, so they're into the quarterfinals. However, somebody said, and I thought, you know what? It's a point. Brozovic wasn't a player before he went to Inter under Conte, and Conte made him the player he is. So they're saying he's thinking the same with Amrabat. I'm not getting involved in this Amrabat because I'm telling you now,
Brozovic wasn't bad. He wasn't
Yeah.
bad.
He
He was
was-
all right.
Brozovic was a good player. Let me say,
Right.
let me just say, sorry, Brozovic is a good player. I just think Conte took him on a higher level.
Yeah.
He just, he just gets players that are there and he just takes them. That's the quality of the manager.
Yeah.
This is the point.
Sid, the thing is, this
Sorry, carry on
Sofran,
and I'll,
the thing is, Sid, this Fiorentina guy is a defensive mid. We've
know.
got 3 defensive mids already.
I know.
100% agree with what you say.
And this
is
is
what
the
I say.
problem.
I don't understand if that can be Conte wouldn't, if he's going to go for a defensive mid, he's going to go for exceptional one, or at least try to. We've got 3 of them at the club already. You're going to bring in someone from an Italian league. Now, again, what's his name? Lukaku looked great last season. You bring him back to the Premier League, he's not quite the same player. The Italian league's different.
Yeah.
It's a different league. Different qualities required to play well in that league as you would to play well in this league. And I don't know if, not to say that no players come over and don't see that's wrong, but you will take a time to adapt. We've seen that with so many players. Very, very rarely will players from overseas, particularly from like leagues of the Italian league, maybe the Dutch league as well, that just come over and bam, hit the ground running, as they say. Very, very rare. So if you've got a player that hasn't really played that much, apparently I don't know how many appearances he's made this season, but not many.
Not many.
He started 1 game.
Why the hell would you bring someone like in
I
to
don't
bolster?
think it's a Conte
It doesn't make
signing
sense.
either.
So what I was going to ask you, I was going to ask, do you think then this is probably true then, Iggy, that this comment here from Adam Clark, that we need to sell before we can buy? Because this is the only thing I can think that we're not getting players in, because we've got so many players who are earning a lot of money at Spurs. It's very comfortable. It's a comfortable environment. And to get these players out is difficult. Do you think this is the major hurdle for us in terms of signing players going forward?
Well, the thing
I know
is,
Stel's laughing.
the thing is, even
I've given up, Sam. Sam, I've given up.
Give it up on what I said. Spinals. Listen, bottom line is, we are leaving it all to the final week. We're buying, selling players. We've had a whole month here to. You haven't got the players in, but let's bring the players out. We know fully well the players that Conte doesn't want. Why is it taking this long to even try and get them out, even on loan? Just get them out there, get them out on loan, and just out of the window, because they're not part of the plans. This is the kind of thing going back to what Conte and Paratici and everything you guys, because I've been listening attentively to what you guys are saying. Conte never likes to start a new job mid-season. He always wants to start in the summer. Now, Paratici's come in. He was doing interviews and things at the beginning of the season. If you guys remember, he was in interviews of what he was planning and what he wants to do for Spurs. So he's now brought Conte in mid-season. So against what Conte does, he's obviously been assured by his mate Paratici to come on board at Tottenham, because something that maybe didn't convince him in the summer must have been said for him to come over now. Okay, so now Paratici's brought him in. Now, I honestly believe this. Conte's identified the issues at Spurs, the players that he wants, and he's given Paratici the list. Paratici's like, okay, let me go to Italy, or whatever it is he's gone to go and identify the players that he wishes to bring in. Now, I think, and I truly believe this, because this window's it's hitting me like a brick wall. He's got the content, said, right, we got the players. There are certain players that we can get and bring them over now, and then probably the rest. So Daniel Levy said, right, this is what we need. This is what I need to go and get these players finalised. And Daniel Levy's like, no. He's gone straight away. He's like, no. So all of a sudden, Sam, if I bring you in to do a job for me, and I'm not giving you the ammo to go and finalise these deals, what can you possibly do? This is where I am with Paratici. I'm not sure, because I haven't seen Paratici at work, because I'm not convinced that Daniel Levy is giving him the ammo to go and complete the jobs. So you've got contacts, and I'm embarrassing you with those contacts because of the ammo that I'm giving you to go and do the business. So that's where I'm at with Paratici in regards to that.
I'm going to give Sorry, go on. Finish your point. So
now we're in this situation where Conte, like you said earlier, every little interview or post interview, he's always leaving something more. He's always revealing a little bit more, which I've said many a times, and still can say this as well. I said this worries me. It's always worried me. Now we're linked with the Damatroris or the Arabat and all these players like that. These are not the kind of players that Conte would identify as to bring in and better this team immediately. We need 2-3 players that are Premiership proven players that can hit the ground running because they need to impact that first team straight away. We're having to be in a situation where we're playing Chelsea. We're having to start shit players just so we can keep some decent ones on the bench to come on and impact. That's what the kind of strategy we set up against Chelsea, where we tried to keep it 0-0 for as long as possible. So then we can bring players off the bench to then impact and try and win it for us in the last 30 minutes. That didn't happen because we know what happened. But this is a situation where, like Sid was saying, he's looking over the bench. He's got nothing. So he's having to hold some players back just so. And unfortunately, he's having to start some players that shouldn't even be anywhere near the first team.
You know what? Let me just add a little bit, just so we can continue to spit in the conversation. Because with regards to Paratici, I know you mentioned there, Iggy, about him maybe not being given the tools and all the rest of that sort of stuff, which is a fair point. He joined in July, but has he? Where else has he done his job outside of Italy? Has he done anything outside of Italy?
Listen. No, this is abroad. No, the Premier League level. I've only ever known him in Italy, and he's at Juve, where he literally got them because they were back from the Serie B. There was all that situation. They brought him in, and then obviously after that, then Conte, and then he worked with Allegri. So he's got the players to a certain level. He's got Juve back up to where they should have been, or according to Juve standards, if you like. So abroad, I don't know much about him working abroad, but
so that's my point was that. So he's used
why
to
would
working
Daniel
in that
Levy hire
environment.
him? What is Daniel Levy seeing him to hire him?
Well, I think this is a typical Levy hire. He's attributed Juve's success to Paratici, when actually Paratici was better when he was the number 2 behind Marotta.
I was about to say
that was the guy who
Marotta's the real deal.
He's the real deal. Absolutely. And literally Fabio was the gopher. He would go to a hotel in Poland and run up an enormous internet bill that he didn't realise he was being charged. He was the man that went around, with the shopping bag, but the money was, the actual thing was done by his number, and they reckon when Marotta left, that's when the thing started to.
But Marotta was given full backing by his club to go and get those deals done. Yeah. So you can say, let's just say, for argument's sake, that Paratici was Marotta's understudy, if you like. Let's call him an understudy. So he now sees how to operate. He's got the contacts, but if you don't give the guy the ammo, I can't see what his true value is for Spurs. I cannot. How can we identify what the guy's true value is?
Juventus gave Aaron Ramsey like 400 grand a week. We're never going to do that, are we? I mean, we're never going to do stuff like that.
400. We're not even going to give 40 grand.
I don't know. Listen, fair dues to Ramsey's agent. I don't know how that was even possible. But listen, you get things wrong. But in Juve's, if you look at Juve's story, they've got more things right than they have wrong. With our situation right now, it's a lot of things, and it's like the bottom line for me is Daniel Levy would never let up on control, man. He would never give whatever you could call him a smokescreen if you like, Paratici, but he would. I don't think he would ever give any kind of control to others. That's
the point I was trying to just get to, sorry to interrupt you, is that he's done well over in Italy. It's like me now going or any of us taking what we do here, going, I don't know, somewhere else and expecting to come in within 5 months, 6 months or whatever it is, and just be like, wow, he's only had a few weeks of that July transfer window to the beginning. And now we're expecting him to perform miracles in a transfer window, which is notoriously not the best. Not to say he can't get things done, but there's no experience here. So the players that he might want to bring in, again, might fit the bill over in Juve or in Italy. I don't know, and I'm going to play a bit of devil's advocate. I don't know if he's necessarily the man to do the job now. I don't think he's been brought in at the right time because I don't think we had enough base. I don't think we've got enough to build on for someone like Paratici to come in. I think you need somebody who's almost going to start really from scratch, that's maybe had experience here. And I don't know who that would have been. I'm just throwing that. I don't know if Paratici was the right man to bring in now.
But do you
Sam, we had the guy. We had him. Paul Mitchell. We had him.
That's right.
Levy.
This is what I'm trying to say. Paul Mitchell's story tells us that Daniel Levy holds these guys back. So what would make any difference? Why would you not think that's happening with Paratici the same way it happened with Mitchell and whoever else? Because we've had some really quality scouts at Spurs. But for some reason, why have they all left? Why do they go elsewhere? Why do they not stay at Tottenham? Are we really saying that we don't have a really good academy? Why are these academy players? Why are they not coming into the fold? What is it that Mitchell, like you said, was one of the best? He's gone over to Germany. He's gone and work in another country. Why is he doing bits over there? So it can be done. You can go and succeed in another country if you're allowed, if you are given the ammo by the club that you're representing to go and do your job properly. I'm not defending. Listen, in no way stretch. I'm not saying I'm defending Paratici. What I'm trying to say is, I need to see the guy being given the tools. I truly need to believe that Daniel Levy is giving him everything to go and do what he's got to do, to then say, then you evaluate that work, that job that he's doing on that basis. Because if it's like giving, like what Conte's been giving this team. He's not his team, by the way. This is a team that he's inherited. He's saying we need to change it, but then we can't expect him to go and get top 4 with this current team. Although a lot of fans out there, maybe not us, but a lot of fans out there believe that we can make top 4 with this team.
Do you know what I don't understand? Do you know what I don't understand, right? Before Conte came in, Paratici would have spoken to Conte. It's clear to me that Conte is Paratici's guy. He wanted Conte. Now he's got him. Conte would have known very, very quickly what the issues are, what needs to be done, right? The board would have known about what needs to be done in December, not in January, okay? Conte says, I need to have a meeting with the club. I've done my evaluation. Why must you speak with the club? What is Paratici for? You're supposed to speak to him. Why have you got to speak to the club? What's the point of the middle guy? So Paratici knew. Paratici would have known very early from Antonio what the issues are, what players have to go, what kind of players we want in. So there was plenty of time to have a plan to buy some players early doors in January. They had plenty of time to put a plan together. They knew what kind of manager they were bringing in, and the manager would have told them early doors what is going on. Yet we now get to the end of January. There's no plan. It looks like they're not communicating. Conte's saying, I've told them. Stop talking to me. I've told them. Speak to them. I've told them. It's up to them. It doesn't make sense. Like when we signed him, this is why, Sam, at the start of the show, I said to you, I think Conte was a panic signing. I don't think they've thought it out. I think if they really thought it out, what they would have done is they would have realised they're never going to be a Chelsea or Man City. It's not in their blood. They will never splash the kind of money required to do it that way. They've got to do it the Liverpool way. Very savvy in the transfer market. Maybe sell a big player to fund 2 top stars. But to do that, you've got to bring in a quality scout. Not a director of football, a quality scout. And you've got to bring in a project manager, a Ten Hag. And say, we've got a 5-year project. Use the academy players. Use the players that you like. And over 5 years, we'll slowly... Basically what Poch said 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. That's what they should have done. I think Conte is a panic signing. I'm telling you. I hope I'm wrong because I love Conte.
Yeah, and I think this is what I want to move. This is probably a good segue to move into. And I'm going to ask Sid the first thing. So, performance-wise, we're going to look at performances now because, again, we had Jose, and then we had the Mason. We can discount that, but then we had Jose Light with Nuno. You know, the style of play hasn't been fabulous. Conte's come in, and as much as I said, I've applauded Conte coming. I've applauded the board for bringing him in. Like you said, there's a bit of questions as to why he's coming now. What's made him change his mind from the summer? Blah blah blah. Money might have done that, but looking at the long-term project. He's not a long-term project. Not signed him for long-term. They signed him for what was it? 18 months? Was it an 18-month contract?
months.
Do you know what I mean? So that tells you another thing about what they're going to be looking at potentially. They know his history, but have you seen enough? And it's a bit of a controversial thing because I've got my own thoughts on this, and I'll give them it if you want. Have you seen enough in the style of play that we're now doing to think we have improved performance-wise? What's your thoughts, Sid?
Good question. Do you know what? Sometimes I watch it and I'm like, it's no better than Nuno. Sometimes, right? We go forward, yes. Okay, against Leicester, we've done 27 shots on target, yes. But there's still signs where there's not been improvement. Me personally, we've gone into games. I think I said it a couple of weeks ago or to someone. First halves, we're not coming out guns firing. 3 games against Chelsea, we just didn't turn up, right? Now, them kind of games, I expected Conte to fire every single one of them players up, yeah? And if it wasn't working, then frigging deal with it. And he didn't. Substitutions were lame. He didn't change it quickly enough. I mean, you know, Tanganga, prime example, the other day, he should have been taken off at half-time, but he doesn't. He doesn't change the team. So, for me, there's times where I've been excited, and there's times where I'm like, you know what, this is not no better than what I've seen before. It's not Conte's fault, in a way, because he's still stuck with them same players that Nuno had, and he's not managed to get his players in, like the Gills and people like that. Did he get them in? No. So he's got to play with what he's got. And I know a lot of fans are Conte effect. It's not the Conte effect yet because he hasn't got them players. Once he gets his own players, and like Stel says, get rid of all the team, bring in his 12 players, his formation, his philosophy, that is going to be the Conte way. At the moment, it's Conte's way, hindered by Levy's way, hindered by Nuno and Jose Mourinho's way. So he's just trying to put together the pieces. And we know now, the last couple of games, and we've all had this conversation, is he now doing this on purpose just to get a reaction from Levy, which I think he is.
That's a great question.
And he's not getting that from Levy, and he's now thinking, forget this, like four wing backs or 4 fullbacks on Sunday, right? You can't afford fullbacks.
Again, the only thing I would say to that is okay, I'm going to speak my mind. I don't think I've questioned some of the decisions that Conte's made, and I've said, has it been self-sabotage to kind of show the board? Has it been a degree? Well, these are the players I've got, and I'm trying to fit pieces in. What the question I'll ask you, Sean, is if Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Tuchel was in charge of this team, do you think we'd get a better style of football from those managers and get better performances out, and hence better results? Or is Conte, because Conte's got almost a very rigid style in terms of this 3 at the back, a 3-5-2, 3-4-3, and I'm not sure we've got all the personnel that fits that criteria. But a good manager, a really good manager, and Stowe will probably point to this in terms of a coach as well, should be able to adapt to what he's got. Tools you've got. Now, those tools I don't believe are top 4 tools that he's got at his disposal, but certainly top 6. Do you think he's getting enough out of the players currently? Would somebody else get more out of them, i.e. the managers I've mentioned? That's for you, Sean. Oh, he's stuck. Oh, what, you're not answering? Oh, he's definitely
He's given up on Spurs, Sam. He's given up on the club.
He's had enough.
He's just given up.
He's had enough.
Johnny, where are you?
Oh, Stel,
I'm
take
here.
over. Oh, did you not hear the question?
Is
then?
there?
No?
Is there?
There's a lag on.
Oh, there must be a lag on mine.
There's a delay, like leave his pocket.
Stel.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm still waiting for Sam to finish his question. It was like coming through like a Dalek.
I think
apologise.
Derek's the one that's delayed.
Oh, okay. What's your thoughts?
If he leaves the stream and comes back in, it'll catch up.
You might have to.
Let me text him.
Okay. So, Stel, what's your thoughts in terms of the performance of the team with Conte's involved?
I think I think he's doing the best he can with the players he's got. I think he's being a bit stubborn in terms of his tactics in certain games. But you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, Sam, right? If you look at Pep when he first come to City, he was playing tiki-taka, tiki-taka, this is my way, this is how we play. And they were getting peppered. 4-0 at Goodison. They just about got top 4. And everyone was saying, you can't bring that football. This is the Premier League. Don't bring that rubbish here, man. You've been found out, blah, blah, blah. In the mud. The following season, he went and broke the Premier League record for the most points. But that's after he dropped £300 million and bought the players he wanted, okay? So he embedded in the players that he was going to keep, this is how we're going to play. So when his players that he did want came, they slotted into the system and boom, the system was already embedded. So you could argue that Conte is sticking to this system because when he does get his players, then they will slot into this system and it should take off, right? I'm different. I think there's certain games you just got to forget your system and just get the win. To play Chelsea 3 times and not once flood the midfield. And
5 if you include the pre-season, but 4 times definitely this year.
Well, I'm just talking about Conte, like just Conte's management.
Okay, sorry, apologies. Yeah,
that's cool. Right, to not recognise that Kovacic and Jorginho bossed the game, and you cannot be playing with anything less than 4 in the middle, in the central area, to nullify them. I don't get it, which is why I said Sid's question's really good. Is he doing it on purpose to send a message? I think he did. I think he did it on purpose to send a message, and the consequence was we lost the game. But he might have thought we would have lost the game anyway. You know, there's certain games I would say, you know what, Conte, man, you got it wrong, and I could have done better, and I know I could have. But at the same time, he's on £20 million a year. He's got to juggle the players that are disrupting the camp. He's got to juggle the people upstairs that he's trying to get the message to. He's trying to play politics. He's not just setting the team out to go and win games, is he? He's trying to... It's almost like he's trying to run the club. He feels like someone that likes to really get involved in the culture and the direction of the club as well as manage. Mm-hmm. So... to answer your question, yes, he could have set up better in certain games, but I think there's a bigger game he's playing. I think.
Okay. Sam, he sets us up better, wins those games, and Levy will turn around and goes, "No, this is a good team. We're all right. We don't need anyone."
Yeah.
But surely, if it's the other way round, and he's then doing what we possibly could be the sabotage move, how's that going to make Levy say, you know what? I don't see that, because clearly we're not on, was it Saturday, whenever we played Chelsea, when we had them 4 fullbacks in, I looked at that team and thought, there's no way we're going to have anything creative in here. How are we going to win this game? Let alone score?
Sam, maybe it's a case of, listen, by the way, I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't know the answer. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Maybe it's a case of, as long as I beat the lesser teams, he can't sack me because no one else is doing better than that. But it's just those big teams. If it doesn't quite go to plan in those games, I can turn around and say, they're the ones we need to beat, and we don't have the players for those games. Maybe he's doing that. Or maybe we're overthinking it. Maybe we're overcooking it as fans. And he genuinely can't do any better with what he's got.
But you know what I found? Against Chelsea, he's tried different things. He's tried different setups, albeit not necessarily the right things, which is obviously it proved that it wasn't the right things. But every time we've played Chelsea, we've done something different. It just... Listen, I'm convinced that on the last game that we played them, we didn't get the break, man, because Kane scored. We did not get the break, because that's another match there. You take 1-0 lead. I'm not saying we're going to go on to win it, but it completely changes the setup of the game. But we tried different things, and none of them have worked. So I think he's of the belief that against the Chelseas, the Man Cities, and those sort of teams, it's just a level too high for us. But then I know what you guys are saying. You know what? If we're going to go there, losing the game, at least go there and just have it out, thrash it out with them, and what will be will be. But he's not the kind of manager that strikes me. He's not the kind of manager that strikes me though as of having a face-off
No.
and coming away being
Well, yeah,
beaten
I mean,
4-0.
if he had done
He
that
does-
and
he
we
would
picked up a
never-
whole series of injuries, he would
Yeah.
have been made to look stupid because obviously the focus is doing well in the league,
Yeah.
as well as he can in the league.
But
I
also, he
think
doesn't want to get embarrassed by his team. He doesn't want to go to Chelsea
Oh,
away
but-
or
No,
Man
he's
City
a
away.
competitive individual. I don't think he wanted to lose that game at the weekend, but
I agree.
it's clear. It's clear
Let's look at.
he's having to sort of juggle plates here. Look, aimed at the Lily White House nutters, and then obviously trying to.
Let me say.
know,
Let me
make
just say a little bit.
A
Let me just say.
silk purse out of a sow's ear.
I'm all for defending Conte, but you're paying him £20 million a year. Chelsea have lost
over the whole contract. Actually,
It's not. Yeah.
Well, whatever that is, it's still a lot of money.
The 18 months,
18 months, still a lot of money. Chelsea have drawn 8 and lost 3 in the league. They've played 24 games. If we win all our games in hand, we go above Chelsea. So what I'm trying to allude to the point is Chelsea are not Manchester City this season. They're not even Liverpool this season. Why is it that we can't? Is it a mentality thing? I'm just on the Chelsea thing. Brighton played brilliantly against them. I've seen other teams play really good. They've worked out. Tuchel worked us out. Tuchel went away from his back three in the 3 games that I've seen him play and played a back 4 against us each and every time. That's what I want to see our manager do. Change something to think, right, tactically, I've been going along all this path all this time. It's not worked. I'm going to do something different. Now, we saw something different in that game against Chelsea, the last one, but it wasn't the difference that I expected to see. Also, I don't know what you guys are thinking. I don't know if his in-game management, in terms of what he does, has been good enough this season so far. And the substitutions, far too late. Gill came on at about 80-something minute the other day.
89.
Ridiculous. Don't make any sense to me. Now, again, Mike, going back to the point you're making, is that sending out a message? Is that something he's saying, well, I can't do anything anyway. I'm just going to throw these kids on or throw this guy on. Why would he do that? Now, I'll ask you still, why would he do that? What would you think?
Why would you throw the players that he paid?
Yeah, just throw him on it like with 2 minutes to go, because that didn't make any sense to me to bring Gill on at that sort of time to try and change the game.
I've got no idea why he brought on Brian Hill for the last 2 minutes. It was just senseless. God knows why he done that. Unless one of his players was completely knackered or an injury, niggle. God knows. I that's the one game that Premier League away game at Chelsea when what's his face? Ziyech scored that wonder goal. That's the only game I've properly questioned Conte tactically this season. That's the one game I said, what is he playing at? And I was told that, what else can we do? Reggie was injured, Moura was injured, and I argued, yeah, but they're on the bench. How can they be injured? Oh, they're carrying knocks.
Exactly.
So, well, why didn't Skip start? Oh, but he's tired. I'm like, yeah, but they're all on the bench. Why are they on the bench? Get academy kids, get Noel John, get Lavernier, get these kids in. At least they're 100%. I don't get it. Oh, but you can't play them against Chelsea. So what? We're going to play injured players. So this argument just went back and forth. I don't know why he did that. That's why I go back to this. Is he trying to send a message? But then is Conte the kind of manager that's happy to lose a game to prove a point? I don't know. I mean, Iggy. Iggy, you might know better because you watch Serie A a lot, but he doesn't come across like a manager that would. The one thing I will say that is a big problem. Ndombele, Lo Celso and Dele, they're clearly not part of his plans, right? So they're out of the squad. That's 3 midfield options we've just now taken away. And we don't have any other options in that middle. Like nothing. Especially with Son injured. So that was a big, big problem for us against Chelsea. And that's going to be a problem every game going forward now, unless we get those midfielders. And it doesn't look like we're getting any of those midfielders. And if those players end up staying here, how can you possibly play them now? So that for me is a big problem. If we don't get rid of those 3 players, I think that's a big problem for us. But I don't know, Iggy,
they've kind of taken those players, those 3 players that you just mentioned. They've done it to themselves because Dele Alli has done nothing since he had 1 decent game against Liverpool and he followed it up with 2 atrocious games. Ndombele, what can you say to him? He played against Morecambe and he did what he did and
there's still options. We had no options against Chelsea.
What options are there? They're not being options because they're not even playing. They're not even playing well. What options are they
Celso's not
really?
terrible, though, is he?
Lo
He's not
Celso, he's played more games for Argentina this season than he has for Spurs. Let's have it. How does this guy even get called up for Argentina, not having played for
Because
Spurs?
he's good. He's good for them.
For them.
He was good in Spain.
For them, he's all right. Yeah, thanks. Let Argentina pay for him.
Yeah, but that means there's a good player there. There's a good player there.
Well, we
It's
haven't
just
seen him
Tottenham,
at
innit?
Tottenham. We haven't seen him at Tottenham. So whatever
You
way
know
you
my
want to look
theory
at
on
it.
this. You know.
Yeah, but Alice,
So I've got this theory. Let me tell you what it is. I've got this theory. You buy three players for
I've heard
Poch.
it already.
Ndombele, Lo Celso, and Cesc. You sack the manager 3 months later. You're now stuck with 3 players you bought for a manager who's now not there. In comes an ex-manager. He brings in 8 players. Bergwijns, Vinicius, his Road, all these players. He then gets sacked 9 months later. So now you've got another 8 players on top of the 3 that you're lumbered with. In comes Nuno. You bring in Romero, Galini, Hill, Pape Sarr, and so on. He then gets sacked 2 months later. You've now got 14 players you've signed for 3 managers you've sacked within a year. Conte comes in. He's now lumbered with this. He's lumbered with it.
So, Steph, this then for me, and I want to ask because Sean obviously was delayed on his stream. This point here from Mike is where this whole thing runs through for me. Ten Hag's a manager whose philosophy is more in line with the Tottenham way. Jose Nuno and Conte the opposite. But what I would say to that is I don't know
what's the Tottenham way. What is the Tottenham way?
That's what exactly the point.
I
don't know.
Our hierarchy.
But if you're bringing in players, not to say that every single player you bring in is gonna make it, but there should be a thread of a philosophy there. There should be a thread of a vision there, such that you complement who you bring in. Now, I can see Jose being followed by a Conte in terms of philosophy, but we kind of got Jose because we wanted to win. We didn't bring Jose in to build. We brought Jose in to win. We brought Conte in to win. We ain't brought him in to build. So we are bringing managers in.
Why did we bring in Nuno
now?
Nuno,
I think. You know what? I think Nuno was almost a stopgap because I believe that Conte said, "I'm not ready yet. I need a bit more time. I might." This is my own theory. This is not fact, obviously. I think he was just wanted a bit more time, and they were hoping that we can't lose out on him. We can't appoint another big manager. Nuno. This is what all the talk about Gattuso and all. There was just a merry-go-round of shite. They banked on Nuno coming in as a stopgap. Nuno was never going to last more than the season, in my opinion. But Conte was ready to come in at some point. He came in earlier. But that doesn't then make sense because, as you were saying, Nicky, Conte usually likes to come in at the beginning of a season. I think there was something around the Man United thing that I personally believe was why we had to get him in. We said, listen, come in now, bro. And he said, you know what? All right, 20 mil, that's going to help me think about it. I'll join now. My personal opinion. So, Sean, do we think then that we will have enough improvements within this squad that we can make top 4 with Conte and this squad, or is it going to be an impossibility for him to do it with this squad? Because where we are now, as I said to you before, we win our 4 games and now we go above Chelsea. Are we good enough now with the players that we got with this manager to get top 4?
There's too many ifs in your questions, man, if this, if that, if it's
that's how we are.
I can't see us getting top 4 because we don't react well to pressure. I lost count of the number of times over the last 2 years where if we won this game, we would go to this position. If we won this game, we would put this gap between us and Arsenal today, for example, and it just never happened. We imploded. I think, as Stelios said, we all said, he's inherited 3 different squads because of the turnover in. We are a club. If we're going to stick to this model, we need a club which has got a project manager who wants to play in a positive way. We've never been a counter-attack team in my history. And as I say, I go back to 1968. God, would say, I've been watching this team. We've never been a counter-attack team, and I think the majority of the fan base, certainly of my age, would say that that's how we should be playing. We need a project manager. We also need. it's amazing how we've been talking about the season so far, and so much is concentrated on the boardroom and the shenanigans at the top of our club. We've not actually talked about the players, and that's kind of speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Sure.
I think we need. Talk about Premier ready players. We need players from the UK to come into and straight into the team. They understand the culture. They understand what's required. We used to be able to recruit good, young English players. We don't seem to do that anymore. We're not developing enough at the academy level. I don't know what's going on there. Whether there's been turmoil after.
Sean, I want to ask you something, mate. Sorry to interrupt. I want to ask you something.
No, that's fine.
You've been following Spurs since the 60s, which is, probably way longer than any of us at this point. No disrespect, right? But this philosophy that Mike was talking about, who sets it out? Bill Nick set it out in the 60s when we went on to play, and then other managers that then followed suit, and the Tottenham way, which is what we all believe, Spurs should play a certain way, which is which football that we like. Who sets it out? Because in this current hierarchy, because it's very clear to me that with the appointment of the managers that we've been hiring, that no one above has got a clue with how we should be playing, because otherwise we wouldn't be getting Pochettino who plays champagne football and then get Jose in who plays pragmatic football and so forth. So who sets this philosophy in? Ajax have got a philosophy. Barcelona have. We can go on and mention many other teams. Milan had in the 90s. We've got that philosophy going right
Iggy,
in that team.
that's why the players need a bit of a break, man. We keep blasting them, but that's what I'm saying to you.
This is why I fought players, all right? On two things I fought players. Lack of effort, which is the minimum requirement for any players, which we know who those players are. And if you're a baller, a real baller can adjust in different ways of playing.
Not every player can, though.
Okay,
I will say, just on top of that,
for effort.
I'm
seeing Dele Alli and Ndombele, they're getting at the stick. They're getting the front of the stick. It's because we don't see the effort. We don't see it.
Let me put this up, and this is something else I wanted to kind of put up before. Let me just share it here because it was, and here it is.
Sam, after this, can I ask Sid and Sean a question after this?
So this is just alludes to the point I think you was talking about. We can give the players grief, and the reason I'm giving them players grief is because if you look at the Europa League last season, we weren't fantastic last season, but the Europa League, we're top of our group. In the Conference League this season, we've all seen some shambolic performances. I think we can all agree. Now, the last game obviously was they've given it to Rennes, but discounting that, we were still struggling to make our way out of this group with Rennes. I repeat, Rennes, Vitesse, and NS Mora. They don't care what. I could be in charge of this Spurs team on any other given day and manage this team to beat those teams. Possibly Rennes would give you the hardest game, but there's no reason why those players, regardless of who's in charge, should not be top of that group easily. So it does go back to some of the players' attitudes, which is right. Is it a lot more? Because we've had this. This is a running theme. This is a running theme through Jose. This is a running theme through Nuno. This is a running theme now that these players, but we can't just keep using these players, because the job of the manager, the job of the people around these is to motivate these players sufficiently enough to at least win these games. I'm not talking about competing with Chelsea's and that, but these games. Yeah, sorry.
But don't you think, though, the players we got rid of in the summer, there's players at this club now that should have gone first. Like, Doherty should have gone before anyone else, not Lamela. Why have we kept someone like Rodon, who never plays for us? He's never going to play for us. Yet we got rid of Toby Alderweireld. Like, I actually think
there's no interest in these players.
I think we weakened the squad. I'm saying this in hindsight.
No, if we had 6 clubs after Doherty and we don't sell him, then you can say you're right. Well, we had 6 clubs after him. Nobody wants these players. Lamela was the only one that had a little bit of market about him, and we that was it. That's the reason no one touches our players.
Fair
And
enough.
also, can I say
Miller didn't
something
want
else?
to go as well.
You know how you can identify a real quality.
Well, we're
of a
still
player.
weaker though. We're still
Hang
weaker.
on, Phil. This is how you identify the real quality of a player that you have in house is where they end up going after they leave your team.
Yeah.
All our players, the last quality players, have gone on to Real Madrid, Modric, Bale, all them boys there have gone on to bigger and better things. When they leave our club, where do they go? Where do they go? They go
Well,
no.
They usually go on and win something. That's what usually
Foyth left our club, went to Villarreal and became a Europa League winner, beating
I was gonna say
Manchester
they win.
United.
They all go and win trophies. They all win trophies.
They all win.
They all
I'm
go
gonna
win
ask-
trophies.
Let me ask
We've
you.
got two better right wing backs in the Southampton and Villarreal team to the two that we've got currently.
And we gave them one of them. We gave
them away.
KWP them just to get Højbjerg. Now, again, I can see the deal. I can understand that deal at the time, just to get Højbjerg out. But in hindsight, as we always do, given the system that Conte's playing now, he's an ideal.
He will be
player for
ideal,
us.
absolutely.
He's
Bang on the money.
Absolutely nailed
Bang
on to
on the
playing
money.
that team
That's
every single
probably
week.
why he's stressed, because he knows he can do better.
But Sid, let me just ask you this question. What do we need specifically then? And I know the obvious answer would be players, but we don't get players. We must be able to, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer last season got Man United second. How the hell he did that, I don't know. They've got a better squad than us, but he had him in charge. I want to give Conte, right, he's not going to get all the players in January, and he's already alluded to that. And he said
Not
he
getting
needs
anyone.
to work.
It's not getting anyone.
He needs to work. He's got pretty much 2 weeks now of work. And then we go into the FA Cup game, and then there's the league games are going to start to follow. What does he need to specifically do for you to show us as fans, right, we have got a realistic chance of top four? Because I think after the Chelsea games, we can discount them top three, but we should be able to compete with the rest of them. What does he need to do?
First and foremost, I think he needs to get, well, not him specifically, but he needs to get all the players fit. So Romero, the Dyers, and Son need to come back. Once he's got all them players fit, I personally believe, he's lost 1 in 10 games, right? Okay, we've grounded out results. We've had decent spells in most of the games. We've scored 3 against Leicester, like you said. I think if he gets every single one of them in the next 2 weeks as fit as a fiddle, right? Everyone back to full from injury, and he puts the team that he believes in, and I think he's got in his mind a team that he thinks he's capable. I think he can get the best out of these players, right? Only concern, like I said, is the bench. But once everyone's fully fit, I think he can have a couple of players on the bench. So if Son comes back, if Romero comes back, who else is injured? Son, Romero. Okay, Dyer's back. So then you got 2 centre backs. So Dyer and Romero will slot in straight away. Son then slots in, and then he'll have a couple. You can have Bergwijn on the bench. You can have Moura even on the bench.
We're going to have to be really lucky with injuries, though, Sid.
This is that's what I mean. Everyone, like, I'm talking next 2 weeks. If everyone comes back fully fit, because there's no games unless they go to unless wherever they're going at holidaying. Because I know Bellini's already posting pictures in Dubai and whatever. So if they're doing the wrong things and they come back and they get knackered or injured, then yes, Conte should kick the shit out of them, right? But if they're all fit and ready, I think for the next month or so, I think he can give it a proper go, and I think we can go on a run, yeah, and everybody will be happy for the time being. And if we get an extra player or two in the window, which I don't believe, I'm like Estelle, we're not going to get nobody in, but I think he'll get one ready. Just going back to the model that Sean was on about, every morning, I believe, Levy goes into his boardroom and he looks at the model and he goes, "It's a model and it's looking good." And that's
he's always got to find a song, isn't he? And he's done well to find a song for this show, I'll tell you what. Right, Stel, I'm going to start with you. This is the final part of the show. Right, I want to just give a...
Wait, can I just quickly ask the question I wanted to ask?
Yeah. Sorry. Oh,
sorry.
You wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
Ask away,
So, Sean, like you said, this is for you as well, Sid. You said that what we need is a project manager. I agree. But do you think, right, if Conte was to be backed, he could be a project manager for Spurs, and he could end up staying for 4 or 5 years and really doing something great if he's backed, and for it to become a project rather than just an 18-month contract.
I think Conte would stay. Yeah, I mean, look at the. I mean, if we were, I mean, God forbid, I've kind of sworn it will never happen to me that I will see us win the league. But if he was to win the league, I mean, and he would need to be backed. I think he might stay. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, winning with Juve in Serie A is not difficult when they've got all the resources. Their TV deal is skewed in favour of them. They've got support. They're like the Manchester United of Italy. Half their support comes from, the south of the country, where all these immigrant workers moved up to the Fiat factories. They're it's not difficult to win with there, but to win with Tottenham Hotspur, my God, that would be a statement, and I think it could encourage them to stay. Yeah, I think there is an element of that. Yeah, that's my view. Could be wrong, but I think that's what would happen.
I personally don't think he's a project manager, because if you look at his record, every club he's been to, Conte is a winner. He goes in there to win, and you give him the players that he wants. In them couple of seasons, he'll give you trophies or he'll win you something. He ain't a project manager. He's one of them. He's been to Chelsea. He won the stuff. He left. Went to Inter Milan. Went to Juve. You go there. He wins and he moves on. He's not for me.
Hold.
Go on.
He left Juve because
Money.
they no longer wanted to continue bringing in the kind of expenditure and ambition. Yeah. They went a different direction to which because Conte had said he was going to stay, and then in that very summer left after he said he was going to stay. At Inter Milan, they had a few financial difficulties, which meant Hakimi and Lukaku, which is why we was also linked with Skriniar. They were looking to offload their best assets because they were in financial difficulties, which is why I said, this is not what I signed up for. I signed up for to win the Serie A, and the next season we'll go strong in the Champions League. He left. What he did do, though, after Juve, he left Juve still carried on winning. So they were set up to win. Inter are likely to win a Serie A again this year, and they will potentially go on to challenge again in the Champions League next season, or even this season. But what I'm saying is he leaves the teams better than what he finds them, providing he's given the resources to do his job. Exactly
what I was going to say, Iggy. Provided he gets the resources to do a job. And I honestly believe he will not get them resources from Daniel Levy. And that is the problem.
That's sad because he will go, because I agree with Stel. I've got this feeling where we jumped in and got him out of Man United's hands. I think we're just picking him up and we're going to give him back to him in the summer.
Of course.
And let's be honest, can he do a job with Man United with that team?
Of course he can.
Do you reckon
I want you guys to do. Sorry, Stel, to interrupt you, but
I'm just sighing. I'm just like,
I want you to start this because we've, like as Sean was saying, we've kind of gone and we've not really talked about, giving an overall report. You know what I mean? So what I want I'll start with you, Stel, and I'm going to come around all of you. I want you to give me a rating out of 10, or you can give me an A+ to D-, whatever you want to do. Firstly, on the current squad, we can't do individual players because it's a lot, but you can maybe mention one or two. Then the managing director of football, Paratici, then Conte, and then Enoch. Your ratings for those 4 elements. Starting with you, Coach Stel.
The squad out of 10. Depends where we finish. We are in the FA Cup. We're out of Europe. No. We lost tomorrow. No, we lost tomorrow. I'm not that. No. 4 out of 10. Squad's 4 out of 10.
I'm going to write this down now because I want to go back to some of these scores at the end.
Yeah, squad's 4 out of 10. What was next? Conte.
Paratici.
Well, other than Romero, what's he done? I mean, we got rid of a lot of players. We reduced the wage bill a lot, I guess, and I guess he was tired to do that, so he only got Romero. 5 out of 10. Paratici, 5 out of 10 so far. Conte, I'll give him, because he hasn't really been challenged yet, in my opinion, other than Chelsea. We've lost all those games. I'll give him an 8 out of 10 because he has turned us around in the league. We are somehow in a top 4 race. We are, whether it's believable or not. 8 out of 10. Enoch, 1 trophy in 21 years. Worst trophy run in 75
Why do you think
years.
I left them to last? Because I knew that was going to be coming.
Listen, football is a business, and we are secure as a business. We do have a nice stadium. We are set for success. The foundations are there. So I'm being honest now. But I'm a football man, and every fan wants to see good football and to see success. That's why we support Tottenham. I'd rather be in a broken stadium leaking, watching us win FA Cups. So, ENIC, what did I give the squad? 4. ENIC have to get less. ENIC get 3.
4. Yeah.
ENIC get 3.
ENIC 3. Okay. Oh, it's not as bad as I thought in terms of the ENIC bit and the squad bit, to be honest with you. I thought you might have gone a bit... But to be fair, you have mentioned about it's not all down to the players. And I appreciate that as well, because I genuinely believe this squad is a top 6 squad. I don't think it's a top 4 squad currently, but I think we should be in and around challenging for top 6. And I do believe that we could challenge domestically for a trophy. But I'll give my scores at the end. Let me go upstairs. Let me go to Sean next then. Start off. Current squad. Then on to the director of football, Paratici, how you want to pronounce it? Conte and ENIC. So starting off with the current squad out of 10. What are you giving them?
I'm not quite as down as Stelios on this. I would probably give them a 6. What was the next one? Was it Paratici? Yeah, I mean, as a sort of follower of AS Roma, I hate to give Juve men any credit.
I despise them more than Chelsea and Arsenal. That's how far I take it.
Yeah.
That's deep.
I mean, it's without really knowing what. I mean, his job has been changed on him. You know, he was there to get a coach. He picked the wrong one. Because the one he wanted wasn't available. He's probably still in credit with me, so I'd give him 6. But he would have got more, and that in spite of him getting rid of Lamella. Conte is an 8 for me, like Stelios, because he has rescued my boy. The Winks Naissance is in full flow. He's actually found he's rediscovered the player that we had a few years ago. I'm not saying that Winks is the be all and end all, but at least he's recovered him for me, and that's a great thing.
Bad as we all thought.
And ENIC is.
Oh, what did you give Conte? Sorry,
8. I gave 8. Yeah, same as Stelios. Yeah.
Nice.
And because he's made me feel good, Conte. You know, he's I mean, you look at his record, you think, well, my God, how the hell have we got that manager? You know, over the line. But ENIC, yes, we sit in a wonderful stadium. I'm not so sure about this training ground. I think it makes players too bloody comfortable. I think they should be out on, training on Hackney Marshes. I think just to harden them up a bit. But as a property development, they're 10. As a football management, they're 2. I mean, I think as I think I said earlier, madness is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. This transfer window is just doing me in.
So your final ENIC mark is?
No, the 2.
2. Okay. Yeah. Wow. You've gone lower than Stel.
Yeah.
Oh God, we are in for a hard night.
I mean, you know what sticks in my mind? Stel saying, "I'd rather we were in a broken down stadium and winning an FA Cup."
That's
my God, 1991. 1991. I was there. It was a madness, when we win with an own goal. But I never thought I'd be saying in 2022 we've not won an FA Cup. When we won that cup that year, we were the record holders. Now we've been left in the slipstream of the unmentionables.
Yeah, I know. Can't mention it. So you were going to say Stel?
No, don't worry. I was going to change my score because I thought, how can I not be the lowest for ENIC? It's like, but it is what it is. Do you know what? ENIC. Do you know what? We did get 5 great years under Poch, which was ENIC. So I guess I'll stick to my 3. But really, I should give it.
But was that not luck?
Yeah, can I go down to a 2, Sam?
I was thinking this 3's a bit high. I even had to raise my eyebrows at the 3.
I'm going down to a 2.
I think
I have to
going
go
down
to a
to
2.
2 makes me feel more comfortable anyway.
If anyone gives him a 1, I'm going down to a 1.
Well,
that is indexing.
Right, before I come down to Iggy, we've got 100 odd people, 133 people still watching.
Wow.
It must be a decent show.
Smash it.
If
Give
you
it a
are
like.
still watching,
Give it a
smash
like.
that like. Also,
Great
if you're
guess.
watching and you
Great
haven't
guess.
already, go across to these guys, Tottenham Away, smash subscribe on there. If you haven't already, make sure you do that. We're going to get some more details at the end, but I'm just telling you to go and do that now. So come back. We still ain't finished. Right, Iggy, you're next then, mate. So squad first, then Paratici, Conte, and Enoch. Your marks out of 10.
Squad. 4.5. Squad wise.
There's always one. Isn't there?
And you know what? I know, and a lot of it is to do with probably Sonny, Kane, and Luis are the ones that keep those points up. Otherwise, it'll be a lot less. In regards to who's next? Sorry,
Paratici.
Paratici. Yeah, the same reason he put the wage bill down. He like Stelios covered it. He got Romero in. How much? I'm still on the fence with him because I still need to see a little bit more about him. For that alone, the initial part of it, I'll give it a 5.5 for now. 5.5.
There's always one with the
6. I won't
0.5.
give him a 5, but he's not good enough for 6 yet. So
Are
I'm
we
going
all
to split it
booked
in the
into
middle.
May at the end of the season when we come back and revisit this?
We have to do this at the end of the season. as well. Yeah, 100%.
Conte. Listen, Conte. So I'm going to answer Ellie's question in a minute in regards to Conte, because of what I just said about Juventus. Conte has had an impact into the team. He's bettered players that we thought were dead causes, like Sean just said about Winksy was one of them. Dyer, Lloris seems to have got his hunger back. Kane, all of a sudden, this turned to Sonny's Sonny anyway. Skip, which I know Conte loves. Skip. There's Mora, which is the most consistent I've seen this season than any other season prior. He's touched and he's one thing, and I've said this many times. He's linked that fan base at Spurs, that White Hart Lane rocks, and he's united us, and we've all backing Conte. That I've loved about him. Still questions of things, but 7 out of 10 for now. The impact he's had in the Tottenham world.
Only 7 from Iggy.
7 because there are things that are still.
I like that.
I see you jumping up and down, going Antonio. 7.
Fuck you! You telling me you all haven't been shouting Antonio?
That's why I gave him an 8. That's why he got an 8.
Let the man have his,
Listen,
there's his view. He wants to give him
there's still a second half of the season. Let's see the business end in March. Let's see if the wheels stay on or they start coming off. Let's wait.
You going 7 on that one then, yeah?
Yeah. For now, 7. Halfway through.
I'm shocked. That's all. I was shocked. I was in shock.
Halfway through, it's only been a few months. Relax, man. I'll give him a 10 at the end of the season.
Got a big Italian flag at the stadium with Antonio's face on it, waving it.
It's sitting right over there. It's sitting right over there.
I thought there was going to be Italian bias, but it's obviously...
Enoch.
I like the reality, the realism. He's not just going with the Italian bias. That's good.
No.
That's cool.
Enoch. Listen, I'm only judging football here, man. If we're going to judge extracurricular activities, they probably deserve a 10. Don't get me wrong. But this is football, man, and I'm only interested in the football side of it. The rest can go screw itself. Let's have it right. 21 years, 1 trophy. Man, what do these guys deserve out of 10? Honestly, what do they deserve? Footballing wise, what do they deserve? For me, I'll give them a minus 21, mate.
I've got to change it.
For the 21 years. You know what? Not minus 21. I'm going to give them that one season where they won a trophy. Minus 20, man. Minus 20 on footballing alone.
I'm changing mine to minus 20. I'm going minus 20.
Sam, outside of football, with all the things they've done with the stadium, the training ground, all these the flats, and all this other shit that's going around, They
That's
probably
made me
deserve a +20 for that alone. But this
He's
is
gone.
football, man, and we
He's
are a
gone.
football show.
He's
Minus 20.
And we're
He's
a
gone.
football club.
Get him out.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Minus
Iggy's
20,
gone.
mate.
He's gone. We lost him. I was
Minus
trying my
20.
best. I knew it's at some point it would descend, but minus 20. We've now got an official score. minus 20.
Minus 20 for them, man.
I need to
How
change
can
my
you give
score.
them more? How can they go plus? They've got to go minus, man. They've
I
got
need
to
to-
go minus.
I'm
Yeah,
changing
yeah.
my score, Sam.
Man, you've been 21 years and you not give them plus. They should be in a minus. I was
He's gonna
listening to all your scores and I'm thinking, I can't believe you lot are not gone below 0.
You gave Conte 7.
It's peak, huh?
You gave
He's
Conte
lost it.
7.
For the impact that he's had on the Spurs world, because I'm only judging him on the
on
impact.
us.
What
He's
if-
had an impact on the Tottenham world.
What
I'm
if Daniel
basing that on
Levy?
impact.
What if Daniel
You're
Levy
only
was
giving
called
him 7.
What if Daniel Levy was
For
called
now.
Daniel Livier or something Italian? Would you give him a bit more then?
Come on,
If
man.
it was Livier.
Come on, man.
I'm
Come
just
on,
asking a question. Just asking the
on,
question.
man.
That's all.
You're not trying to say so. Any non-Italians, I'm gonna give them. Come on, you
I'm just
cannot.
saying. I'm not
Listen,
saying
if that was the case, I'd given Conte a 10.
I'm winding you up, Iggy. I'm winding
Come
you up,
on.
mate.
Listen, he's had a brilliant impact. He's had a brilliant impact, and I honestly believe that if he was really backed in the way that we all want him to be backed, the guy would be an easy 10 because he will get the top 4 for us. We know that. If he can get a top 4 with his team, he will deserve a 10.
There needs to be a bit of a recount, right? Because you just... Because I'm reading the comments, okay? And I'm in the mud now. Because, like, you just forgot about the little good things. They have done some small good things. You just forgot about that and just went, no. It's all about completely about the
Stelly's
football.
backtracking.
Oh my god.
Stelly's trying to
about,
save
man.
face here. Stelly's trying to save face here.
Right, I'm gonna
Shit.
move on from Iggy because Iggy has
Shit.
really gone and brought these scores down. The overall scores now are going to be really bad for Enoch at the back end of this one. But anyway, Sid,
Yeah.
you go. Squad, then Paratici,
Squad.
then Conte, and then
Cool.
Enoch.
So
Better
when
be
I
hitting
think,
that minus, Sid.
yeah, when he got into that job, right, and they had that discussion, and he said, "I'm giving you a squad." I seriously think Conte probably thought, "Yes, I'm getting a squad here," and he took the job. And then when he got to the ground, and he looked at the squad, and he asked for Margot Robbie, John Cena, Idris Elba, and they said, "What you're about?" He said, "You've given me the Suicide Squad here." Fuck you now, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for the squad, I'd love to give it a high number, right? But just for Margot Robbie, but she's not there, so 5. I'm gonna give the squad 5.
It's quite high.
And I agree with Iggy exactly. If it wasn't for Lloris, Kane, and Son, then they will. And I think Dyer's done well this season. But if you overall,
Yeah, cool.
it'd be a lot less. It'd be a lot less.
So squad 5, Paratici.
Paratici, do you know, for me, right, he's come in and it's a tough enough job as it is, right, to come into Spurs, working with Daniel Levy. And he's tried to do what he can. And he's managed to do what a lot of them before hadn't done with Daniel Levy, and get rid of a couple of players. But it's the wrong players, like a couple of you guys have said, I think Iggy said it, like Lamella and people like that. However, he managed to get a few out, get in a few. But I personally, I can't judge him yet because this window is the hardest window to buy players in. And he's trying his best to get players, right? But obviously the man up there is stopping him. So for me, summer is going to be where you can actually judge him to see how good he's really done. And what do you call it? The summer window will be the biggest one. So I'm going to give him, I won't give him anything, right? Because no.
After all that,
Not for the wrong. No, what I mean,
I'm like, I thought you'd give him like a really high score.
As
not
well.
for the wrong
And it's not
reasons.
nothing. Go on. Sorry.
No, I don't want to give him anything for the wrong reasons. I'm just saying,
Undecided.
yeah, undecided, because he's got rid of a few players, which, yeah, for that, you've got to give him credit. Let's see what happens this window and summer. But just for getting rid of the players, I'm going to give him a 5 because he's got rid of players, right?
Okay.
So I'll give him a 5. Conte, do you know what? He's done he's done bits for Spurs. He's got everyone excited. Iggy was giving it Antonio, right? And I'm not. I'm. And I'll tell
Man's
you how
got
it
to
is.
sing, you know, otherwise he ain't happy. The man's got to sing, otherwise you got to do it properly, man, if you're going to do it.
Yeah. No, you know what it is? My boy, right, stopped supporting Spurs because of what's been going on with Nuno and all that bit. So he, season ticket holder, he stopped going. And then when we got Antonio, he was on a high. He was on a proper high, and he's now believing in Spurs. So for what he's done, what he's achieved with the Suicide Squad, I'm going to give him an 8.5. 8.5.
Good.
Oh,
Good.
David Biscoe. Can you tell David Biscoe I never said I wanted Traore? How did he say we wanted Traore?
You're going to get set up here.
Hell no. Right. Enoch, I agree with what everyone said about Enoch. Honestly, I've supported him for years like everyone else. And we've had the good moments under Pochettino, but we didn't win much. We got to the Champions League final, yes. But apart from that, what have they done? What have they done to deserve this? I'm gonna give him. I'm not gonna give him a minus, right? Because for me, I'm not. I agree what Iggy's saying. 21 years we've not won anything, and we've won one trophy under them. You sack a manager that you've wanted, one of the top managers at the time, before a cup final, right? And you brought him in to win a trophy. So I tell you what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do what somebody's put on the group. Yeah, I'm going to do what somebody else has put it on the group. And I'm going to give him a plus. No, I'm joking. I'm going to give him a minus 69 for the amount of times they've us over.
You have to let me change my score, Sam.
That's what I'm doing.
Right.
It's
I'm going to do my scores. And I'm going to say, I was looking at this season as the report. But you guys that knew that would happen, you lot have gone off on your tangents and started to bring in 21 years. Right, I'm going to start my score. Right.
It affects all aspects of our life.
Let's hear Sam. I want to.
Let me say my bit. I need to get
I'm undivided attention.
In terms of the squad, I think I've said it enough times. I said it early on in the season. I don't think it's a top 4 squad. I don't believe any manager can get us, or certainly at the beginning of the season, I don't think any manager was able to get us top 4, just from what I'd seen. But I did think it was a good enough squad to get us into the top 6. I did think it was a good enough squad to win a domestic trophy of some kind, maybe a League Cup, which has proved not. FA Cup's still a possibility. I don't think we've got enough depth all over the place. We have got some quality players in terms of Harry Kane, the Sons, Lloris, who mentioned. There's been some improvements in the squad from the likes of Ben Davies, Dyer, blah, blah, blah. We've got enough. We haven't got enough to challenge too far down the line, but I'm going to give it a 6. I think 6 is good enough for me to turn. In terms of director of football, jury's still out for me. But again, I'm going to caveat that with he came in July, didn't have that much time in the summer window, although it was enough time to do some bits. But I saw a kind of philosophy, or at least I saw a vision of the type of players. We were going for a slightly younger players, you know, with potential. Romero was on the top end of that. Brian Hill, again, the potential. You're looking at, what's his name? The right back, Emerson. Again, young players that potentially could improve, have some. So I looked at that philosophy and thought, yeah, I like that. But players out. I've not seen enough of the players that we need to get rid of being got rid of. In hindsight, I would have kept Lamella now and maybe got rid of someone else, potentially. But I don't know how everything works in the background. But that's their job. It's not my job. It's their job. That's what they know they need to do. You need to get players in. You also need to get players out. So the jury's out for me. If he can do it in the summer, I'll change my mind. But I'm going to give him a 5. Conte. We've got a top manager in Conte. That's without a doubt. Top 3 manager in the world. I'm just going to add just a little bit. It's not a negativity, but just for me, he's either playing a little bit of a game in terms of some of the selection and some of the choices he's doing in game management and starting. I might take that as a factor. But I look at the likes of what Tuchel did against him in those 4 games, certainly 3 games against him. And I think he out-tacticked him. You know, we had the better players, but he out-thought him in that sense. And I want to see Conte, right, do something to outfox him in game, change things, substitutions. So I'm going to give Conte 7.5. 7.5
I'd say
on
so.
that
We're
one.
close, man. We're close.
Yeah. And I've taken your line about getting on the 0.5s. I'm going to do that as well now, Iggy. So thank you for suggesting that. Right. On the ENIC thing, again, I'm looking at this year. The positives. They brought in Conte. That's a positive. We can all say we wasn't expecting that. It's a massive positive. They've also brought in a director of football, a massive positive. They got it wrong with Nuno as a negative. I don't think this window is going to be the window where we're going to see all these transfers that we want. So my thoughts are, if summertime, this summer, and I'm talking about this summer, not the summer after, this summer, if we don't see the type of rollout in terms of players out and players in that gets Conte what he needs in terms of tools to do the job, I'm quite happy to start saying, right, we need to make some changes here. Something needs to be done, which is easier said than done. But for this season alone and this season only, things have been done that certainly put us in a better position. Transfers need to be looked at, though. We need to see what that happens now and in the summer. So I'm not looking at the whole 21 years. I'm looking at this season. So I might have
But you didn't say that, did you?
I know. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I went last.
You see what he did? You see that? Okay.
I set you all up.
Wait till he comes on our show.
I'm still sticking to my
Iggy, write that down. Make the note when he comes on our show.
I'm sticking to my minus 20, and whilst I'm having a sip.
He's having a sip as well of them Tottenham Away mugs. You see, this is what I'm saying. They set us up as well.
Is change your username to Daniel Levy. You're lying to us like he does.
I said, I'm just looking at this season. That's the halftime report. I'm looking at halftime, and it's a 6. It's a 6 for me.
Sam saved me. Sam saved me. I love you, Sam.
Lord of mercy. Lord of mercy.
All right, let's go through the scores then. So, Stel, in terms of squad, you said 4, Paratici 5, Conte 8. And then if we go by what you said earlier, you're going to have to be minus 21. But you initially said 2. You initially said 3, but then it went to a 2, and then it's gone to minus 21. Sean, you said 6 for the squad, 6 for Paratici, 8 for Conte, and 2 for ENIC. Iggy, 4.5, 5.5, 7. Famously, minus 20. Now we're going to go, Sid's gone 5, 8.5, minus 69. I've sensibly answered all the questions correctly, and I've gone 6. What?
I've answered them correctly.
How can you give this Levy and ENIC? How can you give any plus score? It's got to be minus.
I just qualified it. Iggy, I just qualified it.
Iggy, it's time for a drink. Iggy, it's time for a drink.
They got Conte in on a knee-jerk reaction, guys. That's why Conte's here.
Can I not have my opinion? Please, let me have my say. I'm saying the 6 for this season. We've got some good points. We've got a director of football, managing director of football, and we've got Antonio Conte. That has to be positive there in there somewhere. Surely. You agree?
You know what? If they've got Conte in the summer,
we've got the
rather than being linked with 25 managers before we got Nuno, if they'd got him in then, I might have given him a high score. I might have made it a minus 15.
Okay, guys, we're going to come around. Just get your final thoughts. I'm going to start with you, Sean. Then I'm going to start with end with the Tottenham Away lads, and they can also say where they can be found. Final thoughts though on overall. I know you've given the scores, but Sean, is there anything else you want to see in the coming few days? I guess.
Well, it will be good to start the refreshing of the squad, but and I just don't see it happening. I'd like to see us win the FA Cup. I really would love to see us win the FA Cup. But I can't see us finishing in the top 4. Top 6 is possible. And I really fear come the end of the season if the signings aren't coming.
Sure, you know what? My fears are your fears as well. Your fears are my fears, especially because you've been there. You've seen this team, like you said, since the 60s, man. And if anyone's going to get this right, it's going to be him, man. Sean, I'm hearing you. Now I'm worried even more than I was.
Oh, my God.
I'm normally more optimistic, but
Oh,
it's,
sure. You have your moments. Don't forget.
all right, fair
don't forget
enough.
them
Yes, I have
reaction
my
moments
moments.
we've had. We've seen you go off on a few tangents, mate. Don't you worry about that. I've seen you go off on a couple.
Yeah, all right, okay. But then I'm allowed to. I'm a Spurs fan.
Of course, that's what we do. Okay, Sid. Final thoughts.
True. It's loud.
Final thoughts. Do you know what? I've just got a couple of words to say, and Elvis Presley sang about it, and it's basically "It's now or never." That's what I'm
That's
going
a
to
song.
say.
Sing it.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to say it's now or never.
Sid, we need to go to a karaoke bar. I'm telling you.
I know,
we win the FA Cup and we're going out for a
We're going
weekend
out.
of karaoke.
The next time we all get down to a game, that's what we're going to have to do something, definitely.
No problem.
Definitely.
He's
Right
going to
then.
come out.
I'm going to come down to this lot down the bottom with their bloody mugs, and they keep flashing their mugs up on a constant
Yeah,
basis.
your mugs out for the lads.
I'm gonna
Get
Well
your
done,
mugs
Sid.
up for
Well
the
done, Sid.
lads.
Get the merch out.
your-
Get the merch out, Sid. Get the merch out. That's why.
Mate,
Anyway,
those Paxton Road hoodies are quality, man. I have to
Quality.
say.
Love
I
it.
think they're great, honestly. I love it.
He's coming back. He's
lovely,
coming
lovely,
back.
lovely. Anyway, Iggy, final thoughts, and then tell the viewers where they can
Brilliant.
find you. Make sure, again, we know we're at Tottenham Away, but I want them to tell you. Go on then.
Mate, final thoughts. I really hope. I'm still in the hope that we're bringing a couple of signings in. That's all, just to give us the push to make the top four. If we can do that, I'll be more than happy. Then, of course, FA Cup, any trophies that will come with it. Will be right, where you can find us? Tottenham Away, where we'll be doing our next show, probably from Hotspur Away, which we'll fill in the days to come. Tottenham Away, Monday night show will be on, started at 8:30. Then we have a Spurs, our boys from across the pond, do their show on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. And so come and check us out, guys. And don't forget, give the like and subscribe for this channel. Come and go across and give us a like, subscribe on our channel. It will be very much appreciated, and we'll really appreciate all your support, guys.
And this is one thing about the Spurs community, which I will say, compared to a lot of other communities, we work together. We kind of do things together. I've seen a lot of these fan channels where some of them are after Man United, or I'm not just using Man United, but I'm just saying as an example, oh, you can't come on ours. If you come on ours, you can't. Nah, this is a Spurs. This is why I think we're unique in that whole sense. Is because I think we go through so much as a fan base. I know we have the Unix out and all the rest of it, but at the end of the day, we support the team. Do you know what I mean? That's the one thing we want, the best for the team. So yeah, well said. Coach Stell, official title, Coach Stell. Final thoughts on where viewers can find you.
So I'm going to leave you with a bit of philosophy. All right, nice bit of philosophy. Just stick with me on this one. Don't let me lose you. I was in such a foul mood yesterday with Enoch and Levy and transfers that this video it found me on YouTube. Don't ask me how it came across me, and it was about happiness. Okay, and it's important as Spurs fans that we try and find happiness, because we're never happy. We're never happy, right? So I just want to leave you with this. Happiness isn't about events. Okay, if it rains, some people might be happy, some might be unhappy. If you're growing vegetables and it rains, you're happy because your vegetables will grow. Stay with me, all right? Stay with me.
Viewers, stay with him. Stay with him. Stay with him.
If you go for a walk and it rains, you're not going to be happy because you get wet. So an event isn't what makes you happy or sad. It depends what you wanted. If you go to the beach and you sit there and the waves are crashing on the beach and it starts being a little bit gusty, it doesn't bother you because that's what you expected. You expected to hear the waves crash. You expected for there to be some wind. You're by the sea. So the point here is, it's all about expectation. If you expect nothing from this club, you will never be unhappy, guys. Expect nothing and you'll be happy as a Spurs fan. And that's what I'm leaving you with.
That was almost an Eric Cantona moment there, wasn't it? When you throw the sardines.
When the doves fly and the trawler.
God damn. Wow, I'm going to have to watch this whole stream back just for that. So I'm going to write that down. That's good. No, I like that. Philosophy, I'm into philosophy big time. So
take it.
I can't remember half it. But I know that means something like it's good at the end of the day. We just got to be happy with what you're saying.
Happiness
Don't
is
expect
A
too much.
walk in the rain with good clothes on doesn't make it.
Oh,
make
what,
it a
like
bad
hoodies?
event.
What, like a hoodie? Do you know what I mean?
happiness,
Like a hoodie. Walking,
and you can
Sorry
catch
about that.
you can catch the rain in a mug if you've got one. Just when it falls, just catch.
This is descending into a fast now. We're not battling you lot. We can't do it. Anyway, we ain't got mugs. Anyway, it's been over.
Hey, look at the smiles on the faces.
That's done my head in. That Eric Cantona moment has done my completely in. I'm just so.
Guys, come on.
It's good.
Let's
good.
do it. Let's do it. 1 hour, 45 minutes. You know what? A show.
I know. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to say thank you all the viewers who watched it.
Thank you for watching, guys.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Really good. As you can see, passionate Spurs fans. So things get said. You might not all agree with them. Doesn't matter. It's opinions. At the end of the day, it's all opinions. But one thing is definitely certain. We all want the best for Tottenham Hotspur. If they win whatever trophy they can win this season, I'm happy. If we get top four, I'm happy.
Win a cup, yeah. Win a cup. Well said.
Win a cup.
Well done.
Or
Well
win a mug, like what Iggy's trying to say. You can win a mug as well. God.
I think he's sewing the Spurs badge.
It's all about the badge. Listen, when it all comes down to it, it's all about that.
Yeah.
El Cockerel.
I meant the badge, not the actual mug, guys. It's all about that.
Let's have it real. Let's have it real. In all truth, though, it's been really good. So again, thank you all for that. Make sure again, hit that like button, smash that like button, smash it. Subscribe if you're new to this channel. Also go across once this show's finished, or even now if you want to, as it is finished. Go across, smash like. You can smash a like on there, but definitely subscribe on Tottenham Away. Brilliant, because the music is great as well. With the intro with the troops, I've always said that's just genius. It's genius. Love it. Absolutely love it. I think that's enough now. We've talked a lot. We've done a lot. And it's time to go. Let's reconvene at some point. We're going to have to do something on post-transfer. Well, I think we all know what's going to happen with that one. But we will see. We'll see. But certainly we're going to have to come back at least to discuss that. And also definitely discuss at the end of the season where these scores are going. Because it's minus 69, it's minus 20 and minus 21. It might be significantly higher. It might be significantly lower. Who bloody knows with you lot? Anyway, thank you very much. Like, subscribe, share, comment. PRTv, Tottenham Away. Together, we do big things in the Tottenham community.